One thing I've found from doing a daily TikTok show that focuses on college football and the NFL in the fall is that there are a lot of opinions on Nebraska. I mean, a lot. I think a lot of people think about the Big Ten, especially in the South, and they think about Ohio State, they think about Michigan, they think about those kind of teams. And a team like Nebraska, which has this huge fan base, has huge expectations, but has not really won anything since the 90s. I don't know, not thought about a lot. But it is an everyday conversation, it feels like, on my show where either someone comes on supporting Big Red Nation or someone comes in and is hating on Nebraska. So I'm excited to see what this version of the Cornhuskers will look like in 2026. And that's the team we're talking about today on the You Think You Know Sports podcast. Guys, you obviously found this podcast, whether you happened upon it or you got on our website or however you got to it. You can find it just about anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. This really started with a TikTok channel. You Think You Know Sports is the name of that channel. We're on all the social media sites now. Hope you'll go follow us. And we also have our website going, youthinkyouKnowsports.com. So come hang out with us. We've got previews on every team in college football. That's what we're working on. Podcasts on all of them, videos on all of them. And we're continuing to work on it with this video and podcast on Nebraska. So this team is going to look different. And what most people know is that Dylan Raiola, who's the quarterback, the Patrick Mahomes look-alike, as some have referred to him, is now at Oregon, where he's decided he's going to go be the backup quarterback instead of staying at Nebraska or finding another potential starting job in the Power Four. This is a team that was 7-6 last year, 4-5 in the Big Ten. Matt Rhule, listen, I have made it a point as someone who's worked in the media for a long time. Has run a couple newspapers and has had to write about good and bad things that have happened to people over the years, that I don't like, calling for someone's job or anything like that. Matt Rhule is in a position where he's 19-19 at Nebraska. There were rumors for a while that Penn State was heavily interested in him, and I never understood that. This is a guy that's barely over 500 as a college football coach. It did not work out for him in the NFL. And just has not been able to get it going at Nebraska, right? For whatever reason. And to be fair, nobody has since the 90s, right? It just hasn't worked at Nebraska. But Rhule is 66-62 coaching college football, in 10 years. So it feels like it's now or never, right? Like, I felt like last year was now or never. I mean, this was a team that was 3-0 hosting Michigan, a Michigan team that had played Oklahoma already. And they blew it. I mean, they lost 30-27, and then they lost to Minnesota pretty bad a few weeks later, lost to USC, lost to Penn State, lost to Iowa, lost to Utah in the bowl game. So a really promising season went off the rails. And that's been the problem for Nebraska, is they have not been able to beat elite teams. Nebraska beats the teams typically it should beat. And I'm not hating on any of the programs that they beat last year, but that's typically how it's worked. When is Nebraska going to be in that next tier of teams and start beating teams that maybe are seen better than them on paper? That's what a great coach does. That's what a great quarterback does. And things are starting over at quarterback. Anthony Colandrea has come over from UNLV. He was the Mountain West Player of the Year. He has 49 touchdowns, 29 picks in his career, passing the football. This dude can run, man. 328 carries, over 1,100 yards rushing, and 12 touchdowns. He gets sacked a lot. By a lot, I mean 85 times in his career. He had 18 touchdowns, 5 picks when in a clean pocket last year. 5 touchdowns, 5 picks under pressure. So you can see the 85 sacks in his career, and then not as good under pressure last year. In fact, half of his interceptions came when he was under pressure at UNLV, obviously playing for Dan Mullen last year. This is a team that averaged 29 points per game, number 58 in the country, 370 yards per game, number 80 in the country. They ran the ball on 52% of their plays, number 67 in the country. So, look, they have got to be able to run the football this year And that you cannot put it all on Colandrea to be the main running back here, even at quarterback. Emmett Johnson, who was kind of a do-it-all guy, could catch the ball, had 46 catches last year, ran over 1,400 yards, is gone, right? So Emmett Johnson is no longer there to be the bailout guy at running back for this offense. So they're going to have to figure out who is going to run it for them and who is going to be the go-to guy in the backfield. We don't know if it's going to be Mekhi Nelson in the backfield or if it's going to be Matt Rhule. There are some options there at running back, but they're going to have to establish some kind of running game. They have plenty of receiving options for Colandrea. Neziah Hunter is back, 43 catches, 5 touchdowns. Jacoby Bari had 484 yards, 5 touchdowns. Quasi Gilmore is in from UCLA with 50 catches and 4 touchdowns. Quinn Clark is also back. He was a guy that was at Nebraska already. And then the defense brings in Bob Arich from San Diego State, who had one of the nation's best defenses last year. Nebraska was stout. I mean, we talked about this almost every week on my show because we were talking about how good teams were against the pass. Nebraska was number 3 in the country at the end of the year against the pass. The problem was they allowed so many yards running. They were 98 against the run last year. They brought in Owen Chambliss from San Diego State on defense. They brought in Dexter Foster from Oregon State on a defense that returned 6 guys, right? So 6 guys returned on offense, 6 guys returned on defense. 2 defensive linemen, a linebacker, and Vincent Shavers, and then 3 defensive backs on a team that, again, was really, really good against the pass last year. The secondary was certainly pretty strong for the Cornhuskers last season. So can they continue that or even get better? I mean, they were number 1 a lot of last season before fading a little bit to 3rd. Not too bad. There are about 140 teams that would have traded spots and would love to be number 3 in that category for last season. The schedule starts with 3 straight home games: Ohio, Bowling Green, and North Dakota. Then they play at Michigan State. Then they host Maryland. I think Maryland is going to be a team to watch with so many guys back. But certainly, if you're a Nebraska fan, you're looking at that and you're like, 5-0 is a possibility, right? I mean, with nothing meant against those 5 teams, Nebraska has to feel okay playing those 5 and thinking that they could win them. Then Indiana comes to town. So the defending national champions come to Lincoln, come to Memorial Stadium on October 10th, and then they play at Oregon October 17th. We're going to know a lot about Nebraska right there. Are they 5-0 going into those games, and how competitive can they be against the Hoosiers and the Ducks? Then they get a bye before they play Washington. That game's in Lincoln. Then they go to Illinois and to Rutgers, back-to-back. The Illinois game is a Friday night game. They host Ohio State on November 21st, and then they play at Iowa on Black Friday. So you can see that the front end of the schedule, the first 5 games, are a lot – easy is not the right word, but easier to traverse than the back end of the schedule where things get very, very difficult for Nebraska, right? So I think if you're Matt Rhule, you got to be 5-0. Start 5-0, get to those other 7 games, and then let's see what happens, right? Pull off an upset or 2. Maybe Nebraska, who's going to be picked kind of in the middle of the Big Ten, I think, can beat a team or 2 it shouldn't and end up with a really good season. I think a lot comes down to Colandrea. He's going to have plenty of options in the receiving game. Got a few guys back on the offensive line. I think that's huge. And then that secondary is going to be the key to the defense, I think. So it's going to be fun to watch this team this year. And I know everybody seems to have an opinion on Nebraska, whether I have them too high or too low or whatever my thoughts are from week to week. So, guys, I hope to hear from you on whatever social media you follow me on. Appreciate all the comments and the follows. Hope you're going to hang out with us as we get into the next team in the Big Ten. That will be Northwestern as we continue this series across the Big Ten. Thanks, guys.